Now being in his 90s, Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, and the world's fifth richest man, is not just a master investor, but admired for his business acumen and philosophy around productivity. In fact, his 525 rule is one such example of his much respected wisdom for how to achieve the most you possibly can with the sources and time you have available. Buffett wanted to figure out how to prioritize and focus on the goals he really cared about. In his case, that was making a lot of money. When so much else was demanding his attention, he knew that if there are too many goals or distractions, it's easy to lose focus, get tired or confused, and, worst of all, fritter away limited resources till they become ineffectual. To address this, Buffett devised a simple 3-step rule he would end up using himself. The steps are straightforward. 1. Make a list of your top 25 career goals, or, if you like, more general life goals. 2. Go through the list and circle only the 5 that truly speak to you. 3. Cross off the other 20. It sounds simple, right? The thing is, while most of us already know that it's important to have priorities, in reality what ends up happening is that we keep generating new goals without quite achieving the previous ones or ever taking the time to update or reassess any of them. We know that the first step is to make goals. Then we fall off the wagon, lose motivation, or fail to muster the discipline to follow through. So we start again, perhaps adding another goal to the list. In this way, we start to lose clarity and focus. While the burner list is a more granulated technique that we can use every day to help us plan the smaller tasks, Buffett's 525 rule can help you identify the bigger goals that you're working toward in this way. In fact, many productivity gurus actually think that 5 goals is on the ambitious side and choose to focus on just one. That doesn't mean they only care about one thing in life, but it does mean that for the time being, that important goal is going to take the majority of their attention. Now, here's where the technique gets a little unusual. The technique supposedly came about after Buffett gave airline pilot Mike Flint some advice on how to achieve all the things he wanted in life. Buffett advised him to follow the 3 steps above, but supposedly the purpose wasn't to identify a list to focus on, but rather to take a close look at the 20 items on the B list and truly grasp how these were the problem. These are the things that drain away limited time and resources and keep you from fully investing yourself in the 5 most important items on the A list. Again, Buffett drives home the idea that when it comes to achieving anything of significance, it's not just what you do that matters, but what you don't do. The tricky thing is that the 20 B-list goals you list actually are important to you. On the surface, they definitely look like worthwhile things. For example, completing a course, tackling a new DIY project at home, learning a new skill, taking up a new language, or earning a specialist certificate in your line of work. None of these things is bad in the least, but they will distract you all the same. Buffett's technique asks you to shift the way you look at goals. Typically, people will decide that a goal is worth pursuing just because it sounds like a good idea. It speaks to their values. They believe they should do it for whatever reason, and that's that. But what they fail to do in that process is consider how this goal compares relative to other things that are also important. The world is full of important and interesting sounding goals. You need to be crystal clear about which of them you nevertheless won't have time or energy for. Consider the example of a well-accomplished, energetic CEO who thrives on hard work, goal setting, and constant personal development. For such a person, setting goals is like breathing. They love having something to work toward. And when there's a goal on the horizon, it brings purpose and drive and excitement to life. But you can guess where this is going. When asked to list their goals, this person can easily rattle off a list of dozens of commendable projects. They want it all. To be top of the game at work, to be the world's most perfect spouse, to raise superhuman kids, to be fulfilled creatively, to have a finely honed physique that a bodybuilder would envy, and to find time to walk the dog every single day. No excuses. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of these goals, and each of them will bring fulfillment once achieved. The trouble is, there are just too many. So the CEO spreads themselves thin over all these many goals, indeed, adding goals before previous ones have been achieved. The result's predictable. They're stressed at work. They're a distracted and irritable spouse. They're an absent parent. They've been putting off their creative project for months, and they've gained a few pounds to boot. Maybe they managed to walk the dog here and there, though. Where did all their energy and drive go? Somehow, in being divided up across all the dozens of goals, it was reduced to nothing. They've multitasked in the sense that all their jobs have been approached with the same level of carelessness and mediocrity. With Buffett's technique, the idea is to gain focus by ranking goals, not by considering their absolute value. If you were to look at someone else's list of 25 items, for example, you would not be able to say that 5 of them were good and 20 were bad. They would all look pretty good. But just because a goal would be nice to achieve, and just because someone else has chosen that particular goal, doesn't mean that it has to be your goal. By the same token, even if it is one of your goals, it doesn't automatically make it a priority. Buffett's technique is a constant reminder that we can't do it all. There will be some worthwhile avenues of exploration that we have to forfeit. There will be some great goals that would be wonderful to achieve, but you need to ask, do I want to achieve this goal at the expense of this other one I've also identified? When it comes down to it, your ability to meet a goal requires the ultra-pragmatic realization that some of your desires will need to go unmet. If you're an ambitious type A person, this can actually be a hard pill to swallow, but rest assured, choosing fewer goals make you more effective and more focused so that you ultimately achieve more. Could you imagine yourself doing 25 full-time jobs? Probably not. In the same way, don't try to give yourself 25 life goals. Buffett said, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Be ruthless. Keep on appraising what matters the most. Make peace with the fact that your time on earth is limited and so are your resources. There are no two ways around it. This means you have to choose. When something comes along to demand your time, energy, or attention, remind yourself that it is a distraction. Every second you spend on it is a second that didn't go to the goal that matters most. It's a waste. If you find yourself repeatedly drawn to the B list, stop immediately and ask what task you can do right away towards something on your A list. In extreme situations, you might want to reconsider what's on the A list, but then realize it's a trade-off. You only have 5 spots on the A list, so whatever you want to pursue from the B list has to come at the expense of something on the A list. Literally seeing this compromise in black and white can drive home the point and remind you what's at stake. Adopt a minimalist, calm, and focused approach. Simply refuse to be distracted by the endless noise out there in the world, especially when it comes to other people's goals or the things that society has told you to want. Keep asking yourself, would I rather make real and genuine progress in a single goal that actually means something to me, or muddle along in mediocrity with 1,000 little goals that don't amount to anything altogether? The choice should become much clearer then. This has been Think less, do more. Create an action bias, stop overthinking, and learn how to actually change your life. Written by Peter Hollins, narrated by Russell Newton. Copyright 2023 by Peter Hollins. Production copyright by Peter Hollins.